My friend Michael is a veteran. He served 366 days in Vietnam. The atrocities he experienced in that single year of his life damaged his mental health and inflicted injuries on his brain that will never fully heal. 40% of single homeless men are veterans, and post-traumatic stress disorder has become the front runner in explaining the social problems they face. PTSD is an anxiety disorder that develops after someone goes through a life-threatening or traumatic event. Michael's story gives us insight and understanding of many homeless vets on the street who still carry mental scars from serving their country.
Well, what I like to say is that people in this country, and most people don't understand, when your brain gets injured and you can't see it, your psyche, your literal brain gets injured, and sometimes it gets injured horribly. And PTSD officially now is with you for life. It's a condition. And I would say physiologically, personally speaking, it starts out, except in the severe cases, kind of subtle. You know, when I got home from Vietnam, I was walking with my mother in the Country Club Plaza in Kansas City, Missouri, and a truck backfired, and I was like prone. You know, we're in a nice shopping area, and I'm laying on the concrete. She's like, what are you doing? Well, it's instinctive. You smell diesel, and it's a tank, it's a helicopter. The physical things, the jumps, if you will, the hearing and smelling and stuff. But what happens after that is a lot worse. Sorry. You know, you start having, in my case, nightmares. And in my 20s and stuff, I was in college. I was smoking pot every day, and I was focused on my education, and it was always there. And sometimes they were pretty graphic and stuff. But I managed it better.
Did you see a psychologist when you were?
No. And part of that reason, in a nutshell, and we all know this now, I think, is that it was taboo. It was unmanly. You know, it was like, what's wrong with you? And you're a tough guy and all that. And that's it. Really, people, even within veterans, and that's really where a lot of this, the inertia came for the changes, is within veterans groups, because nobody understood. How the hell are you going to try to tell somebody some of the stuff that we did and saw, as I like to say, for God and country? But it's not God, you know, why bring him into it? What people, I was just guilty, you know, we were the Americans, we're the good guys, we wear the white hat. And they were gooks and slopes and white mice and dinks and all the acronyms, all negative. And in Iraq, the Rajas, ragheads, sand niggers, to be blunt, you know, etc., etc. And you dehumanize them so you can kill them, so you can torture them, so that the things that you see and do, you can live with it easier at the time, and there's no other way. And you realize these are people, and they have emotions, and they're like us. And when you go through a dead enemy soldier, and you're going through his pockets for intelligence, for maps and stuff, which is what you should be doing, which is what they would do if it were me. And then you see a picture of their girlfriend or their wife. You know, it's just, you realize that, man, that's just a person. He's got emotions like me, he loves. Of course, you get out you got a lot of money, you get discharged, so you see your buddies and you're in high school with, it's called the world, you want to get home. So you get home, and what happens, even the people that have PSD, I mean, this is what basically happens. You're so excited you're home. So there's this period, be it 30, 60, 90 days, where everybody's so ecstatic to be back. So if you had a drug or drinking problem, no one would notice it because you're just partying. Hey, I'm home, I made it back alive. Some of us had physical wounds, and like I said earlier, some of us had mental wounds, and those develop over time. So it's pretty joyous initially, and then I enrolled in college and just went on with my life. There's because of, frankly, budget problems, or because the government doesn't want to take the responsibility for how they treat the troops. Although now it's changing because of all the coverage of Iraq and Afghanistan, is that they would say, well, why? You know, you've been kind of okay, you functioned, you had a family, you were pretty normal, fairly successful in business. Why all of a sudden you're claiming all this? Because the Iraq war was like ripping off a giant anthill.
With the onset of the war in Iraq, Michael says his PTSD intensified, leading him into what he calls the black hole. Since his arrival to the Keys, he has experienced homelessness and sought help at the Patterson House, a transitional housing facility in Key West. Michael is a success story. In less than 4 months, he has found a rewarding job and a place to call home.
Yes, if I could impart this humbly, and I am very humble, the message is there's going to be a whole, it's not about me. This is about all these young guys that are going to be coming home and are coming home in droves. It's about young people blowing their frickin' brains out. Hello? And that's what it's about. It's about our government. Anybody that was in combat shouldn't be homeless. I'm done. Thank you. That's cool. Thank you. Maybe. Group hugs.